Welcome to the podcast with your best friend, Tim, and your good friend, Nathaniel.
I'm Batman.
Here, we're going to start our very first podcast, and guess what? It's our Christmas presents to all of our friends.
Okay, that was weird. Anyways, hello peoples, I'm Batman. So, just letting you know, we have multiple personalities. Mine is the extremely sarcastic one, that's kind of putting it lightly. But Tim is kind of a little bit more laid back. I don't even know. He's just like, meh. And I make fun of him, and he's okay with it. So, prepare for the abuse, Tim.
I prefer to think of you as the eccentric one, while I'm the one who actually has a decent sense of class.
Ow, like, it hurts my side. I don't like this. Just, you know what? I'm just going to stop this right now. You know, you're being too mean to me. I'm going to call the police. And by call the police, I mean call my mother.
Do you call your mother for everything?
I call her the police, but I mean... No.
So what you're saying is your mother is an 80s rock band?
Yes. It really rocks. This makes no sense.
Nobody ever said life had to make sense.
And it does make dollars, doesn't it?
That is definitely true. So, shall we move on to our first topic?
Taking over the world. Now, I'm a pretty dang good expert at that. What I can definitely tell you about taking over the world is I've already done it, so you guys can all kiss my...
On that note, vote for Nathaniel. 2032, is it?
2032, yeah.
Okay, vote Nathaniel, 2032.
Tim, what have you done to take over the world?
Honestly, I have no desire to take over the world because that is not a job that I want. Can you imagine just trying to get all these people to do your will? People are stupid.
They're already doing my will. And the will is world domination. That's the rest of my evil laugh. I don't really have one. I need to work on that.
Well, if I did end up taking over the world, Nathaniel, the first thing I would do is try and phase out as many people as I possibly can, especially on the roadways and the airports.
Have you considered murder?
No. I do not plan on murdering people. Instead, I've done some interesting research on autos, or as most people call it, self-driving cars, and I'm actually in favor of the ideas. And I've also done some interesting research on luggage that can take you through the airport and to your destination.
But it's not my luggage.
But it is your luggage, because in this case, you could rent the luggage. It comes to you either via the mail or whatever. You put your stuff in it, you go to the airport, and it takes you to the terminal.
Nailed it.
Essentially, yeah. I think this is a fantastic idea and something that should be implemented within the next 20 years.
But, like, Google already owns everything. So if they get self-driving cars, then they'll own our lives and understand, like, the complex mechanisms of an enigma with milk spilling over. I don't even know.
I mean, I get that reference. It's a SpongeBob reference, but it was pretty weak.
It was weak.
You know what else is weak?
Your face.
So, let's talk about Batman beats Superman.
Yes, Batman does beat Superman. I have no other comment.
Well, personally...
Actually, I do have more comments. Go on, Tim.
Okay, so here's the thing. I think Batman is a fantastic character and considerably more relatable than Superman.
No. Yes.
I was going to say, seriously? Seriously, that's what you think. Okay, then.
I have a hobby of contradicting you, so... Yeah.
At any rate, Batman, while being the more relatable character, is still human. And while he is a pretty darn awesome human, we're talking about a human versus a god.
But obviously Batman's more relatable because everyone can relate to being a super rich billionaire who has dead parents and gets raised by their butler.
Well, it's a slightly more relatable thing than growing up in an alien planet and having superpowers such as flight, super speed, not having to eat, not having to breathe, etc., etc.
Well, actually, he didn't grow up on an alien planet. He landed on Earth after coming in from a pod, and then his parents were actually from this planet, or his adopted parents. So technically they were both adopted. But they should have adopted a new strategy.
That joke fell a little flat. It kind of flatlined there, just like your heart.
I often get told that.
So here's the reason why I think Superman beats Batman. You can throw all the kryptonite you want at him, but when he's in orbit and has no problems blowing up the planet,
Who you gonna call?
he blows up the planet, you're dead. There's nothing you can do.
Except if you get the Hellbat suit, and then Batman is stronger than Superman. Superman completely Batman wins. Okay, that's what I say. I'm Batman.
This is why I said you're the more eccentric one. Well, I am the... Did I say logical one?
Nah, don't believe it.
Anyway, I'm the more logical one, and he's just kind of the person.
No, don't care.
Well, I think I won that one, but let's move on to our next subject.
Optical drive.
Okay, I'll give you a bit of background. So Nathaniel came in today, and I asked him if we needed to put this onto discs, and I said that I have this optical drive in my room because my computer doesn't have an optical drive already in it. He doesn't know what the heck an optical drive is. He just says CD player. And I'm like,
It's a CD player.
like, Nathaniel, there's a difference between a CD player and an optical drive.
But like he was just saying, does your computer read and write discs? And I'm like, yeah, it's a CD drive. And he's just like, no, but it's an optical drive. I have an optical drive. It's an external optical drive. I totally know what I'm talking about. Given it does play, Blu-ray disc, but it's an optical drive. Oh, I'm so posh. Oh.
Does yours play Blu-ray?
No.
Well then. For those of you who don't know, that was the mic dropping.
All right. Well, Undertale. I should probably start off with this. Actually, you know what? You can introduce.
For those of you who don't know, Undertale was a game that came out in late 2015, November 2015, I think. And this has been a game that I have been absolutely in love with ever since.
Because you're a nerd.
Well, you know what, Nathaniel? I could call you a great many things, too. In any case, Undertale is a fantastic game because it's fourth wall breaking and it has fantastic characters. And when you play this in the middle of the night because you're doing night shifts, it's like, oh my gosh, I have nothing to do, so this is awesome. So, Nathaniel, how far have you gotten in this game?
I've beaten the game. There's 3 routes, apparently. Actually, not 3. There's multiple. But there's a genocide route, a regular, neutral route where you kill a couple people. And then there's pacifist routes where you, sort of kill. No, actually, you don't. You don't kill anybody. And it's actually quite enjoyable because you don't kill anybody. That's, the first thing that I've ever said where murder and enjoyment aren't in the same sentence. I mean, technically they were because I said that you aren't murdering people. But, this is the very first game where it's enjoyable not to murder people. And I can say that with sincerity because I would know. I mean...
Do you often murder people in games or in real life?
Well, when there's a whole bunch of crows around, then obviously there would be a murder. But let's see. But basically, for some reason, there's these characters. All of them have different personalities. I personally think that I'm Sans, whatever, Comic Sans. I think it's Sans, whatever. But basically, what he does is he makes puns, and it goes dun and nobody claps, and it's sad. But apparently, Tim is like, you're papyrus because you go yeah, and yeah, I can do crossword puzzles.
The reason I think you're Papyrus is that you have his personality.
Right? No.
Papyrus is the one who, in the genocide run, decides to, instead of trying to kill the protagonist, or I should say antagonist, because they're very antagonistic, instead of trying to fight the person, he decides to try and talk to them, to try and convert them to being good again.
Okay, I can kind of see that. But I mean, if you think about it, Papyrus is like narcissistic and he only wears like one type of clothing, and I mean, I have no relation to that.
Are you absolutely sure about that, Nathaniel?
No. That is the Dark Lord Tim's laugh. Now I'm scared. Please help me.
So how far in the game have you gotten?
Okay, so there's this one part after the pacifist route. I won't like spoil anything, but like when you start off the genocide route, obviously you have to kill a whole bunch of people. Near like you get adopted by this wonderful little lady, and she's like, "I made you pie, and here's your room." And then you go into the kitchen, and you like click on the sink drawer, and it says, "Where are the knives?" And it's like really creepy because it's all in dark red, and that's like the first time you actually see that. And then the rest of the game is everyone tries to run away from you, and whenever you try to save, it says 16 left or something like that, and that means how many people you have left to kill. And it's actually kind of dark because everyone like runs away from you, and if you go into a store, then it says, "Please don't hurt my family." You can steal a whole bunch of stuff. It's a little bit dark. I really enjoy it. You know, it's really my kind of game.
Yeah. Okay. Now that he's described the genocide route, I'm going to discuss the true way to do the game that I did, which is the pacifist route. In the pacifist route, you play as a protagonist named Frisk. Frisk, unlike our wonderful friend Nathaniel, goes around sparing all the monsters instead of killing them. And in doing so, she ends up saving all the monsters and bringing them to the surface for the good ending, as opposed to, killing everybody.
But bringing them to the surface is like boring. I mean, it gives it like a happy ending. I mean, imagine it this way. If you're watching Sherlock and you watch Sherlock obviously die, and then, I'm not going to spoil anything, but then Moriarty die, and just a whole bunch of people die. And then they all come back to life, and everyone's happy and makes friends at the end. That's kind of what it's like. It's actually a very good ending. But for this specific situation, I kind of like a darker ending where the main character dies. But, that's my own personal preference. That's why I'm writing a book where literally everyone dies. So be prepared for that, children.
And they call me the Dark Lord.
I'm Batman.
So, how have you enjoyed the game so far?
Meh. I don't know what to say.
Did it actually tug at your heartstrings like it did mine?
What heart? It's this big.
Then perhaps you need to take an example from the Grinch.
Oh no, it's wallowing in self-pity. I have that reserved at 10 o'clock today.
Max, help! I'm feeling...
Let's go on to a different topic. I have no idea what to talk about now. How about inspirational people? I don't know. I mean, there's quite a few number of inspirational people in this world. What do you think, Tim?
I think many things.
Beautiful insight. I applaud you. It was a weak clap for a reason.
Well, in all seriousness, I have had many people who have inspired me to do great things, such as get up in the morning.
We're all proud of you, Tim. We're all so proud.
I'm sure, like many of you, you find it difficult to get up in the morning sometimes, especially in this colder weather, because the bed is so soft and warm. Oh.
And we'll leave it at that.
Anyway, one of my favorite people who have inspired me, especially in recent years, is our physics professor, Richard Youngworth. I say our physics professor because we both take the same class.
And we both don't pay attention to anything he says.
That is not true.
Well, I mean, say that to playing chess and what was it? Checkers and Battleship and puzzle games. I don't think there was once where we actually paid attention in class, except for those times there were required quizzes, which is like every 5 questions every single day. But other than that, yeah, I can't multitask. So am I alone here in saying that I've never listened to the thing he says?
Don't forget the insult simulator.
Oh yeah.
And yes, you are alone in that case. Because believe it or not, I can listen to people and do something at the same time.
Well, you're just special.
I am special. And you are not.
I take personal offense to this.
Well, then perhaps you should go away.
I'm just leaving now. Bye. I'm shutting this down. Shutting it all down. Goodbye, everyone. And that has been the podcast. Not really, no. I'm just joking. Anyways, and one time in our physics class, this guy, I think, when was it? Like right before Halloween, a guy came in the full dinosaur costume because somebody dared him to. He lost a bet or something like that. And the physics professor, what did he even say? I wasn't even there at the beginning.
So Nathaniel has a problem where he has to go to work at 4:30 in the bloody morning, and then he doesn't get to physics until like 5 or 7 minutes after the bells rang, if there was a bell. Anyway, I was there when everything was going on, so I will tell you the story.
Once upon a time, there was a young boy in his physics lab, and one day a dinosaur came to greet him. Wonderful tales. Oh.
So there were 2 guys in our physics class, and they bet that whoever got the lower score on their physics test would have to wear the dinosaur costume to lecture. Obviously, one of them lost. From what I heard, one guy got 15.
15 out of what?
100.
Yeah, that's how hard our physics class is, I think. I'm not sure.
That's not 50, 50. That's 15. The other guy got 20.
And each question is worth 5 points.
Literally that close. So what ended up happening was Richard is just standing there getting ready, talking to us a little bit. But then we see this rather giant dinosaur costume coming into the lecture, and we're like, okay, what the heck's going on here? So he explains what I just explained to you. He tries to sit down, but since the costume has a tail, he can't do it. So he literally has to take off the head, fold the tail down, just so he can sit in his seat. And it was just a fantastic time that day, and I'm ashamed, and I'm kind of sorry that Nathaniel missed most of it.
I could have told you that one. Or if you didn't hear that. Gosh dang, I can't think of any puns. That's a first. Gosh dang it. Guys, help me. Help me. I need to think of a pun. This is impossible. No. You know what? I am searching up dinosaur puns. Dinosaur puns. I'm going to see how bad these are.
You just put dinosaur pus.
Because I am a great speller. Welcome me as your lord and ruler. All right. Oh, and the first thing that comes up is why not make your writing mistake-free across the web? The internet knows me so well.
Google tracks your searches, and it makes sure you know what you want.
I guess Google's favorite dinosaur is a thesaurus. Oh my gosh. And it's here it's saying that these T-Rexes are waving their arms out. They're saying, I love you this much. And then the other dinosaur's like, that's not very much. T-Rex jokes. Anyways,
on the subject of dinosaurs.
There's a fat dinosaur that says, om nom nomnivore.
I should probably mention that among all of the vores there, he is the fattest. And he has McDonald's around him.
With pizza.
Pizza, high-calorie stuff, and all that.
Anyways.
On the subject of dinosaurs, if you had to have a dinosaur, what kind of dinosaur would you have?
I wouldn't have a dinosaur. I'd have a bat. A soar.
So, you want a helicopter?
I want a helicopter.
Well, if I had to have a dinosaur, I wouldn't want one. because dinosaurs are extremely difficult to take care of, and taking them for walks is not exactly a fun thing to do.
Yes. Long pause.
Well, what about dogs? What kind of dog would you have?
Not a dog. I have a cat because cats rule. And by cats rule, they rule the entire household, regardless of whether you like it or not.
But I have 2 cats as well, and I am equally ambivalent to both cats and dogs. So, you don't want dogs because you have cats?
You are correct.
I have 2 cats, but if I didn't have 2 cats, I would probably want a dog. And if I had a dog, I'd probably want a cat. Because with cats, you don't have to clean up after them. They do that themselves. But they don't give you the same kind of love that a dog does.
Excuse you. I have a cat. His name is Mittens. And what happens is whenever he sees me, he goes, meow, flop, and he flops on the floor. And then I pet him with my foot and slide him across the ground, and he's like a mop, and it's great. And he sheds everywhere, but it's great. As for a dog, they just poop everywhere. And yes, of course, they're all cute, but then they don't clean after themselves, and then they get all smelly, and then you have to give them cats clean themselves, and it's just there's so many things that you don't have to worry about, and it's great, and they go meow instead of bark, and they're not loud, and they go meow, and it's great.
Well, let me be the advocate for dogs. Whereas your cat makes a very terrible mop, a dog, depending on the breed, has this thing called loyalty, and also depending on the dog, it can protect your house from outside invaders.
Loyalty schmoyalty. You can get something that betrays you all the time, and that's the person you can trust.
So what you're saying is you prefer dishonesty over honesty?
Well, a dishonest man you can always trust to be dishonest. Honestly, it's the honest ones you want to watch out for, because you can never predict when they'll do something incredibly stupid. Stupid. Fulfill your destiny, you stupid people. Join the dark side.
I've already joined the dark side. I'm the Dark Lord. I have cookies.
And I'm Batman.
For those of you who didn't watch the latest He-She, How It Should Have Ended, one of the small things that they had in there was Lord Sidious trying to tempt Batman to come to the dark side. And it's really funny because Batman says,
I'm already dark. I'm already part of the dark side. See? I wear black because I'm Batman.
I'm the Dark Knight, remember?
Yes. I feel the power. That's a mix of Batman and Sidious. I should probably not do that again. Smeagol likes it. Yes. The dark side. My precious.
You know what else is precious, Smeagol? Pizza. Nathaniel, let's talk about your experience with pizza.
Little Caesars is the best. And by the best, obviously, it's not the best. I just mean that it's cheap and it's really great for the quality of pizza. Even though people are like, oh, it tastes like garbage. No, all pizza tastes great. And when you get an entire large pizza for $5, seriously, you go to any other place, it costs $10, double the price, and it's just a little bit better quality. So Little Caesars for life.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to disagree with you there, Nathaniel, because there's this thing called standards. And you know what? I have better standards than you because Little Caesars to me is just absolute crap.
I'm just going to disown you right now. just leave my life, please.
Have you heard of this thing called stuffed crust?
Yeah, Pizza Hut has it and Little Caesars has it. Little Caesars has a deep dish stuffed crust pizza. It's $10 and it's amazing.
Have you heard of pretzel stuffed crust?
What? Nobody told me about this. When did this happen?
Pizza Hut apparently has some pretzel stuffed crust. Apparently, Pizza Hut has all sorts of very interesting combinations of crusts.
Nobody told me this. Why don't people tell me these kinds of things? I mean, yeah, obviously Pizza Hut is good, but nobody told me you could get a stuffed crust pretzel roll pizza. No. Where? No. Now I feel sheltered. I'm always sheltered, but I mean this specifically. Why? I'm gonna just like, I'm gonna go and get some like right now. Intermission time.
So we're back from dinner now, and Nathaniel has just tried some very delicious stuffed crust pretzel rolls. What do you think, Nathaniel?
I tasted heaven.
Apparently, heaven tastes like pizza.
I was so wrong. Okay, then. I'm not wrong. But I was. Well, now I'm going to just go home and rethink my life. Goodbye, everyone. I guess.
You heard it here, folks. Nathaniel has been converted. Well, I think that's going to do it for this time.
But Vegeta, we have more.
Do we have more, Nappa? Do we?
No. We need our own theme song.
Look at me, I'm white.